So this is like my first time filming from my tablet. Let me know what you think. My whole reason for actually making sure this tablet was alive was to use it for videos. All right, so I was debating on addressing this because it was so alien to me, and when I get into it, you're gonna be like, "How is that alien to you?" Basically, there was a thing I saw about like the vanishing half. It was originally a YouTube ad. And basically, this black author was writing a book about something her mother had told her, which is like in a village in Louisiana, there is a whole village where they only date outside of their race and they only date lighter skinned or, people of Caucasian descent. And that's so that their babies will have light skin. Basically, going into the stigma that if you're too dark, you're not beautiful. This was an odd concept for me because being black has never bothered me. Now, I will say, when I was younger, I used to put on a shit ton of sunscreen, and that was to keep me from getting dark in the summertime. I don't know why that bothered me because I never had a problem with being African American, but then that sounds a little redundant, doesn't it? It's like, oh, get out of my eye. It's like, well, why were you doing that if you didn't have a problem with being African American? I like the skin tone I am in the winter and fall months. But as I got older, I'm just like, yeah, but why is that a big deal? And if you're wondering where I got the sunscreen thing from, it was from the anime Peach Girl where she was slapping on a shit ton of sunscreen so she wouldn't get darker. And I thought that it would help me from getting darker. No, that is actual bullshit. It really doesn't. But it's like it's basically to keep you from getting skin cancer and getting sunburn. But yeah, that's what it's good for. So you should use sunblock. Even African Americans need sunblock. But back then, I really preferred myself with lighter features, and I don't know why. And maybe it was more ingrained into my head than I thought it was. My mom is actually lighter than me because she has a white mother. I'm 25% white. I am mixed, and apparently it's more obvious in my facial features than it is anywhere else. But my skin, and like right now, I'm looking at myself in the camera. That's taken off at least 2 shades of color. like like if you follow my IG, you'll see like I'm a chocolate lady, and I'm proud of it. But I've never had an issue with being black. The only time I really felt not bad being black, but angry. Not angry about being black, but angry about the ignorance I was dealing with. There was a former YouTuber on here. Her name was Yandre Lolita. Real name Emily. I'm not going to give her full name. One thing you guys need to know about me, when you've been outwardly disrespectful and I have proof, or you've been a terrible person, your privacy is the last thing I'm going to respect. So, me and her got into it, and then she gave my information to people she knew were racist, and they were texting me all kinds of horrible things, telling me to go kill myself, they're gonna lynch me, calling me the N-bomb, and I'm like, what the F is wrong with you, bitch? And she was actually legit shocked when I didn't want to be friends anymore after that, and that resulted in other things. Like, basically, I've only felt like, with, I don't even want to say problem, because it's not a fucking problem. They had the problem. These people were nuts, and this bitch was entitled and didn't like being told no. But I think a lot of this also stems from like history. Like there's two tribes that were at war because European people that settled there in their tribes actually treated the ones with the better features, as they saw it, like lighter, had narrower faces, had narrower noses. These were the Hutus, who were treated poorly because they had more more bulbous noses, or I don't even like the term bulbous. I'm like more pronounced noses. They were darker skinned. They weren't as it's aesthetically pleasing in these people's eyes, which, like, fuck you. And that actually started a war between them, and the Hutus got so angry about being mistreated, they started killing off the Tutsis, which it wasn't even their fault in the first place, but that's like where a lot of, and basically like, when it came to, slavery, the lighter you were, the nicer you were treated. Like, you would be, like if we had to go through skin tone here, if we had to go into this subject, my mom would be somebody who was in the house if this was still a thing, which thank God it's not. But Basically, the lighter you were and the more aesthetically pleasing you were, the closer you were to actually being in the house than you were. And that's where all this stems from. And then being insecure about being really, really, really dark. Like, I've heard, like, a lot of times, like, how the people will say, like, I've heard black girls even say that yellow girls, which are basically mixed girls, like, my mother, are treated better. And unfortunately, I have seen this as a thing, but I really want to encourage all African American, if you're ebony, if you're cinnamon, if you're whatever, if you're fucking mocha, don't let people make you feel bad about your skin. All skin is beautiful. You're the way you're supposed to be. I never felt like my skin was wrong. I felt like I liked it a certain way, but did I ever feel like it was wrong? No, and I wouldn't let anyone tell me that, including psycho bitch and her stupid fucking friends. So there's always going to be dumbass, asshole, douchebag people who are going to think things negatively about someone because of their skin, be it their eyes, like, be it anything. They don't like their good. There's always going to be ignorant people, but don't let ignorant people make you hate your skin. There's nothing wrong with being dark. There's nothing wrong with being lighter. There's nothing wrong with being in the middle. There's nothing wrong with being someone who's lighter in the winter and fall like me. And there's nothing wrong with getting darker in the summer. There's nothing wrong with getting more sun. There's nothing wrong with, don't let, like, and I'm kind of happy that, now listen, I respect people's choices. If a Caucasian person wants to get a tan, I don't care. Go get a tan. But a lot of people, they want to encourage black people not to use skin lightening creams, and I think that should be to each their own. If you really would prefer to do that, it's like any other cosmetic procedure in my mind. Like, if I wanted bigger breasts, God no, Jesus no, Christ no, no. I'm actually undergoing training to try to get rid of these. I am tired of paying so much for bras. But, like it's like any other thing. It's like, if they want to lighten their skin and they feel better with lighter skin, okay, fine. Would I personally do that? No, it's not. I don't. Once again, it doesn't bother me. It breaks my heart, though, knowing that there are some, especially little girls, who are bothered by their skin. Why? That breaks my heart. That hurts me. Because it's like, you should not let anyone stop you from loving or caring about yourself. And I get in a society that says certain things, like, I think there's like 3 companies that came. I remember PSP came under fire for having like the new white PSP. That wasn't the issue, but they had a white character playing the white PSP, and she's grabbing the black one, and she's like dumb, and I'm like, oh. and then there was one lotion brand. I forgot what it was. I don't even use mainstream lotion brands. Given I have eczema, my skin is such a picky bitch. I have to have like stuff like this, like really expensive top line organic stuff to make it happy. But it said white is purity and black is power. And I'm just like, so wait, black skin isn't pure? And there's always been a stigma attached to the color black. Like, we got the black plague, the black death, the black night. It's like, usually when black is in something, it's not really always been the best, which I think is silly, but black is a dark, really demonic color, and then that's pouring over into skin. It's like, first of all, there is no such thing as black skin. That is a color. That is a shade. But it's like, yeah, but we say black and white, but which is fine. You can say black and white. But and maybe because I'm one of those people that doesn't really get what it's like to not like your skin, because I take very good care of mine. I guess maybe that's why I'm just like, it's so confusing to me, and I just couldn't imagine it. But if you're going through that, you need to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not wrong for being what you are, and don't let anyone tell you that or make you feel that way. Like I said, there's going to be ignorant people everywhere. I've had to deal with it out at events. I was at a certain concert, and someone who was there was an older white gentleman, and he said some things that weren't the best. But then him and his whole family were shocked when the blonde-haired, blue-eyed waitress they thought were going to be on their side was like, "Oh my God, you need to leave. That's one of our best customers. She's a sweetheart. Oh my God." And he's just like, fuck it. Like, he was like, she's like, "You need to apologize." He's like, "Nah." He's like, "I didn't have to apologize to him back in the day. I don't got to apologize to him now." They were surprised when they got banned. And they're like, "Oh, leave him alone. He's drunk." Oh, I was actually shell shocked, because believe it or not, it had been a sec since I'd had to deal with that outside of the internet. I've had Caucasian males that I wasn't quite into, who the minute I said no to something, they dropped the N bomb. My ex Michael Shaughnessy. I once again, I don't keep your name anonymous if you do something shitty. Dropped the N bomb when he got mad at me for not wanting to give our relationship another chance. It got to the point where it doesn't even. It's like, are you done? You're trying to piss me off because you're so mad and so ignorant you can't think of an eloquent comeback. Don't feel bad for having black skin. Don't feel bad for having white skin. Don't feel bad for having cinnamon skin. Don't feel bad for having any shade of fucking skin. There's nothing wrong with your skin. I don't think it's something that should be treated as something we're trying to snuff out. Like, I respect people's choices, but I myself, the reason I like Caucasian gentlemen is because I'm just attracted to them. It's not because I'm like, oh, we're going to make babies and they're going to be super light. No, that's silly. Underneath this, I got my virgin, non-chemically treated hair, but I still straighten it. Like, a lot of people in the natural community, like, don't frown down on naturals who straighten their hair. There's a lot of things that I'm not quite understanding. And that's why I was so reluctant to make a video about this topic and to say anything, because I'm like, I feel very ignorant to this topic because I really just don't dislike myself enough to be like, like, of course there's things I'm working on, but it's like, my skin is never, I've always taken great pride in it. I take very good care of my skin. I just never thought, like, yeah, there are gonna be people like, oh, they're black. Okay, that's your fucking loss. I will admit, back when I was younger, it would irritate me when, like, I had a guy recently tell me, like, oh, like, my family would never let me date a black girl, but we could definitely, A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm like, that's your loss. Like, fine, keep your. I get it, but at the same point in time, I'm like, look at this. You see my real skin tone, and then you see this. I'm sorry. You see, that's another thing. It's like, I'm trying to stay serious about this, but it's just like, what? Like, if you're going through this thing where you cannot stand your skin, or you want to lighten it for everyone else, if you legit hate your skin, I would suggest talking to someone and figuring out why. You don't need to change it. If changing is something that's going to make you happy, then fine. I can't say anything because I really don't know what that's like. All I know is, a lot of times, like, being what I was into and growing up, a lot of people were saying, oh, black girls shouldn't like that, black girls shouldn't be into that, black girls shouldn't be into crystal, black girls shouldn't be in anime. Sailor Moon backpack right there. Black girls shouldn't be into Nightmare Before Christmas backpack. Black girls aren't into, like stuff like this. And I'm just like, says who now? So yeah, I just everybody's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with you. Black skin, white skin. And I did have someone comment, like, when I posted about, like, all shades of black are beautiful. They said, oh, well, white skin's beautiful too. And I'm like, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying a lot more times you'll get African Americans that have self-loathing tendencies because of the stigma surrounding our skin. I think I'm a knockout. I'm a little arrogant, in all honesty. I take good care of my body. I watch what goes into it. I'm in good shape. I don't have the problems I had when I was overweight, where I was, like, constantly, like, having problems in fitting rooms. Like, that feels good to not have to worry about, oh, am I going to find something to fit me? That feels good. I'm doing pretty fucking swell in life. And if you're someone who has ebony skin, or, whatever shade of black you are, you're doing fucking great too. And if you're someone who's white, you're doing fucking great too. If you're not hurting anyone, if you're not doing anything awful, if you're not contributing to ignorance in any way, shape, or form. And by the way, now, before people try to play the card that black people do, yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. I've had a lot of black dudes message me when I had pictures of me with my white boyfriend saying all kinds of shit. It's like, this stops when everybody stops, and unfortunately, you're always going to find someone who wants to be stupid. But don't let people's foolishness make you dislike yourself. Well, that's my 2 cents on it. I hope this wasn't too rambly. I hope this wasn't too, lose the track. I'm sorry if I, I'm sorry if I didn't seem sensitive enough. Like, I don't usually apologize, but this is something I feel like I kind of should, because it's like I can't relate as much as I'd like to say I can. I cannot. Even there's even other stuff that I had to let stop bother me. Is like, like, it used to drive me nuts when my hair would frizz. I don't even care anymore. It used to drive me nuts when certain, like, water would hit it and it would get. I'm just like, I don't care. That's just how I am. My hair, we're genetically different, and that's a good thing. Oh, and by the way, guys, if let's just say we were all designed the exact same skin color, so no fighting about that. Same, everything is the same about us. There would be something somebody could find that they wouldn't like about another person or another group. It's just, there would always be something. Like, with people, it's always fucking something. So that's just my 2 cents in the matter. All skin is beautiful. Don't feel bad about your skin. Love the skin you're in. You are gorgeous no matter what color you're born. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. This is Rocker Toxin injecting some toxic fucking truth into you.